I believe that we can reinvent ourselves and recreate ourselves as many times as we want, and that's the beauty of this life. But I believe that gift that's inside of us, and that uniqueness and that potential, is actually already inside of us. It's not something that we get given. We already have that.
Welcome to The Backbone, a personal branding podcast for people that don't fit in the box. Today, we are joined by Mona McCann. Mona is a personal trainer and fitness specialist. Welcome, Mona.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you want to give us a little bit of backstory, Mona, a little bit about yourself and what it is you do?
Yes. So, hi, everyone. My name is Mona. I'm a personal trainer, wellbeing advisor, and business owner of Dynamis. Dynamis is exactly that. It's a personal training and wellbeing business whose philosophy is total fitness, and that really focuses on the overall well-being of the client. So it's very holistic, not just focusing on the physical health, but also on the mental and the social health, and just helping to improve the goal being, the mission being, to improve the overall well-being of each person. Is something I truly believe in, and which I want to also share with others. So that's my main business. But obviously in my other life, I'm also based in Brussels. I've been living now in Brussels for almost 12 years. I work at the as an official in the European Union, in the Commission, mainly as a legal officer. But Dynamis is really something I've created through my own personal experience, which led me to, which basically ended in a burnout, but actually was the best thing that happened to me, because it's what gave me Dynamis. So
I love that. And I love that you're kind of thinking of things in like the wider perspective as well. Fitness isn't just going out and exercising, it's like thinking about the whole package and how it all fits into your life. So how do you make it work with such a like serious career as well? Like how are you mixing the two?
Yeah, well, it's very tricky actually. It's not as easy as it looks. But you know what, this Dynamis is something that I'm really passionate about. This is what I really believe that I was meant to do in my life. And I believe that everything in our lives, somehow we get taken on a path which leads us to where we're supposed to be. And I believe that with the burnout and with the experience that I had last year, which was obviously not very nice at the time, but it's something that I'm really grateful for, because actually what it did was it gave me thinking time. And I think that nowadays we're so poor of time, and we're so lacking the ability just to stop, just to have that minute actually just to think what to do in life. And it was obviously at the beginning, obviously, of my burnout, I didn't do anything. I just slept for 3 months. But then after that, it actually gave me sort of time to think what I wanted to do with my life, how I wanted to prioritize my life. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I've always been really passionate about sport and exercise, nutrition. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to sign up. I'm going to do the personal training course, and then we'll see what happens. Because in the worst case, what happens? It doesn't work. And then what doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? At least you can say you've tried. It's always worth taking a risk in life. I really believe that life is too short. You know, I see so many people who I work with, for example, or I have worked with, and they get almost to the age of retirement and they're like, oh, you know what, I wish I'd have done this, or oh, you know what, I really wish I could have done that. And I was like, I don't want to be, you know, one of those. I don't want to ever regret anything in my life. So, you know, I just want to go for it and just do it. So obviously it's not easy at the moment with both things. I'm juggling both things, but you know, I want my business to grow organically. I want to have a really solid foundation. And obviously the difference between Dynamis and I don't know any other kind of businesses out there is that it's really holistic. So it really is focusing on the overall well-being of the client. I don't want to just come in, train my client, and then the client goes home and that's it. It's really about looking after the client, looking after their whole well-being, because actually of my experience and how I realized, especially with burnout, it's something that really affects the mind and the body, and one doesn't work without the other. So even if, you know, you can train or you can do whatever, but if you're not in the right mental frame of mind, it's going to have an impact anyway on your physical performance and your ability. So for me, that's really key, and that's really what I want to push through, and also just try to teach other people, I suppose.
I think that's something that we forget, isn't it? Just how linked the mind and the body is. You can't have a healthy body without a healthy mind. It's just not possible.
No. Do you know what this is? You know what this is? The thing is, people think, you know, and I used to, I'm guilty of it, and that's why I'm so passionate about it, because obviously before I had my burnout, I used to go, I mean, probably at the stage when I should have recognized all the red flags, and I didn't, because, you know, and this is the issue, is that we just don't know until really it's too late. Sometimes it happens to us, which is why I want to raise awareness to stop it before you know, people can get there. But, you know, the mind is really strong, so the mind sometimes will insist that you can keep on doing something, and for a while you will be able to. You know, even if I was working, like, I don't know, hundreds of hours a day and doing whatever I was doing, I would still wake up, and I would even go running, and this is not exaggerating, at 5 in the morning. I would get up, go running, go think I was being really good because I was going out for a run and like looking after myself, not realizing actually the damage that I was doing to myself, because the mind was like fried from obviously the day before. The body is exhausted because it has to, you know, take all of the stress. And this is where hormonal health is so important, because you're constantly running on adrenaline. You've got that kind of cortisol. So you're not actually stopping, and you're not resting to allow the body to recover. So I always give the example of the marathon runner, but I always say, look, it doesn't matter if that marathon runner, you know, they can go out and they can do half a marathon or a marathon or whatever, but what state are they actually running in? Because if they're not good, then first of all, the performance isn't going to be as good. Second of all, they're going to be much more susceptible to injury. And third of all, even if they manage to do it, they're not going to have that feeling of satisfaction. At the end, they're just going to be like, oh, you know, you're just exhausted. So it's really important, you know, when I train my clients, to actually look at the kind of global picture to see how they're doing in terms of their sleep, how they're doing in terms of the nutrition. And then we look at exercise, because those are the biggest elements. 70% is actually sleep and nutrition, and stress, obviously, which we all are living in a crazy world. Like I say, we're all stressed all the time. So yeah.
Big thing, isn't it? Intent with exercise, to know why you're exercising, and it's not just for bragging rights, like you say. Sometimes you can push yourself to a point, and you feel like the harder you push yourself, the better you're doing. But like you say, you're actually taking backward steps.
Definitely, you know, it's all about balance. It's all, you know, especially with exercise, it's really, and it is a science, you know, how you're working, it is a science. So, you know, it depends on, obviously, you know, the goal you want to achieve. But if you're not giving your body that space and that time to rest and recover, which is why for me, recovery is such a big thing. Now it's such a buzzword this year as well. It's really one of the biggest fitness trends is recovery, because, you know, the body has to repair itself. You know, I was giving like a workshop yesterday, and I was explaining sleep is the biggest foundation. And it seems like the easiest thing for us to do, oh, we'll just sleep. But how many of us have had, you know, we have so much difficulty actually having sleep or having enough quality of sleep. And, you know, the more you push yourself, your body will be able to kind of follow you up until a while. But, you know, I can guarantee you then the injury would be, obviously, you know, as you would know as well, injury would be so much higher. Technique, you wouldn't have that, and also that feeling of satisfaction, which I think is so important with exercise. For me, exercise isn't just about working out, it's that mental strength that it gives you, that confidence and that resilience that it gives you, which you can then transfer into your daily life. But if you're exercising already in a really stressed, bad, you know, you're not feeling great, then that's not going to support you either in your daily life. And that's what it's all about. It's actually being able to take those skills, transform it, and, you know, take it out with you and apply it in your everyday life. Yeah,
the science, isn't it, around recovery over the last few years has had massive progression. Are you familiar with Matthew Walker, the English sleep study scientist? He wrote a book.
He's the one who wrote what was the book? He wrote the book on sleep, which was really famous. I don't know the name of it now. I don't know. He wrote something that I read about, and I can't remember the title of it. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe.
What is the book?
What was it called, sorry?
Why We Sleep.
Why We Sleep. Oh no, maybe I don't know that one. No.
Okay. It's worth checking.
Oh, well, yeah, now I will. Yeah.
Yeah, I think as well with fitness and with a lot of kind of stuff going on at the minute, there's so much pressure with seeing other people on social media posting about their routines and how they're waking up at 4 a.m. and going out and doing a marathon before breakfast and eating a couple of almonds and then going off and doing their day. And it's really, really tough, I think, as a business owner, but also just as a person in general, to feel like you're not keeping up with everybody else, and the mental load that you get with all of that must be really tough as well. So like how do you kind of manage those kind of expectations with your clients?
Yeah, I think this is such a key point. And you know what I was doing, I also do like wellbeing workshops as as part of Dynamis, and I've done 2 recently this week actually on self-care. And it's really funny that people talk about this social pressure, even when we're looking at like filling in. So for example, I have a self-care check-in where I say, okay, everyone, like have a little look. What do you think you're doing well? What do you think? And then, some people actually say, oh, they actually say the words, I feel really bad because compared to I'm not doing it as well. And I think, oh my goodness, you like that is, and it really, when you hear it as well and you think, oh my goodness, because there's so much pressure in society at the moment. We have so much pressure that we have to be doing this, we have to be socializing, we have to be doing our self-care, plus we have to be working out, plus we have to be, I don't know, doing really well at work. So the society is crazy, and especially for our generation, I think the pressure that we have on ourselves, and then as a result that we put on ourselves because that's what we feel we're expected to do, is just it's not, you're never going to be able to sustain that. So, when I have, and I always say this, and this is Dynamis's philosophy, is that each individual is unique, and each individual has, and I really truly believe this, has got talents which they only have. Each personality is unique. So therefore, each training program has to be specific to them, and their objectives have to be kind of specific to them. And when they think about what they want to achieve, to try, although it's really hard because we do compare ourselves, is just to kind of block out somehow that background noise, because you as a person are enough. Why do you need to compare yourself to somebody else? Because you are enough. That we are all enough, but we forget that because we have so much pressure on us as well. And my philosophy also, when I kind of talk to clients about that, is just to say, look, baby steps. You only ever, we put so much pressure because we want to run before we can walk, but we have to have a solid foundation. So it's just to go little, I think, step by step, small steps forward until you get to your end goal, and just keep focused actually on what you want to achieve. Doesn't matter about the other person, doesn't matter about whoever's doing what, because that's the beauty now of the world that we live in, is we have so much freedom. We can literally do whatever we want, which is different to our parents' generation, where they had so many more, in a way, kind of expectation, or it was very much more kind of local. So nowadays we can like move abroad, work from remotely, do this, do that, and reinvent ourselves so many times. I think that's really important, is that we have that freedom as well, and to be kind of happy in ourselves, which is obviously easier said than done. But I think this is the kind of confidence that comes with training, and then also believing in yourself. So
yeah, absolutely. Do you feel then like you've kind of reinvented yourself with this new business? Is this like a new version of Mona?
I think it's the version that's always there. I don't, I believe that this was actually always what I was supposed to do. And I believe that this is really me. But it takes sometimes some time to find yourself, and you have to go through different experiences to be able to find yourself or know yourself, which it, when you're younger, maybe you think what you are and who you are, but you, through these different experiences, and I speak from really personal experience, that it doesn't give you that feeling of satisfaction, or you just, something doesn't feel right with you. And with Dynamis, and this is where also the kind of the slogan, release your potential, comes from, because I believe that we can reinvent ourselves and recreate ourselves as many times as we want, and that's the beauty of this life. But I believe that gift that's inside of us and that uniqueness and that potential is actually already inside of us. It's not something that we get given. We already have that. So it's a question actually of just sometimes having a little support or a little boost to release that. And once you've released that, you know, then you're good to go. But I think you have to go through a lot of learning, and you have to do a lot of deep work on yourself to be able to do that, which is actually why I'm grateful for the burnout, because that burnout gave me that time to actually work. It sounds really cliche, work on yourself. What does that mean? Work on yourself. Well, like, work on yourself. You know, I just saw, for example, I saw a counsellor. So I was speaking to someone just to understand a little bit, you know, more about, you know, sometimes how you react in different ways, or, you know, why this has happened. And also, as I say, it's just actually thinking time, and to think, you know, what do I actually want in life? What would I like to do? And once I was free, for example, and I do say that, free from, you know, my, because basically what happened is I was in a relationship for 10 years, and I left that person because it wasn't a good relationship to be in. And then I had a burnout at work, and then I moved house, and I renovated my whole apartment. But I had to almost go through that to realize, you know, what I wanted in life, and also to be a bit more like me, because we are all like ourselves. We know it. It's just sometimes we have to listen to that gut instinct to be able to take that out of us. So I believe that I've always been like this, but I think that my real self was actually hidden and pushed down. That's how I believe it was, is that I didn't allow myself to be my real self because of, for example, you know, how I used to think that I should behave in my previous relationship, in a job that wasn't satisfying for me. And so I had to kind of go through all of that to get where I am now.
Yeah, you said a few quite powerful things. I think, look, you see, in the modern day, you could pretty much do whatever you want, but finding what it is you actually want to do is easier said than done, isn't it?
100%.
And yeah, it sounds like sometimes as well you do need to go through maybe a few negative experiences to force yourself to reevaluate your life and maybe just look at things through a different lens. But amazing that you have found something that you say sort of rings true with your core identity. And personal branding is something that we talk about a lot on the podcast. How do you make yourself stand out, do you think, online compared to other personal trainers or other people who offer a similar sort of service? I
always say this, I think I'm just myself. What you see is what you get. And I think that's what, you know, people, I don't want to sell something that I don't believe in. And I truly believe in this. And I embody Dynamis when I train my clients, when I'm online, you know, doing Instagram or whatever. That's not me putting on a sales talk or putting on a, you know, a kind of a Dynamis hat. That is just me. I am Dynamis, and Dynamis is me. That's it. And of course, then if we talk in terms of like specific kind of niche and why I believe Dynamis is unique, is because it offers this overall, the total fitness, this overall well-being, the full package. I'm not just a personal trainer. You know, I don't just come in, clients don't just come in, work out, and then they get sent back home. I've actually created with Dynamis, and this is what I believe in, is focusing also on the mental health and also the social health, which is an equally important part of total fitness. So I've created, for example, with Dynamis, we have the Dynamis Social Club. And the Dynamis Social Club is like a community where people can, you know, come together, meet new people. Sometimes we do like a workout and a brunch. This Sunday, we've got a coffee and a walk going on. So, you know, it's nothing to do really with exercise. It's just about being outdoors, which is also environmental health, which is also a part of total fitness. You know, you know, these natural dopamine that you can get by being outdoors, meeting new people. So I really, you know, I want to create the full package. I want people to have that full package, all of those elements as possible, as many as possible, of total fitness to support them in their daily lives. And that's for me is the key. And that's actually what Dynamis, you know, makes Dynamis unique and makes Dynamis, I think, stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been talking about it a little bit recently, and how a lot of personal trainers will just sort of give you some set tasks to do, and then there's no relationship between you and them. There's no connection. You hang out with them in real life, and they don't treat you like a human. So it's shocking, isn't it? But you must have you must get a real kick out of seeing sort of your community befriending each other and creating those relationships between each other as well, and like facilitating that.
I do you know what, I love it. I absolutely love it, because we've got like a group chat as well. So we've also got the Dynamis WhatsApp community WhatsApp group, and I love it because they are just so, you know, they love meeting up with each other, or they love, you know, they swap numbers and then they go for lunch or they do whatever together, or, you know, they say, oh, okay, well, the next time. And you know what's really nice is they meet each other the first time, for example, and then for this walk, for example, we've got going on this weekend, they're like, oh great, like this one's going to be there or that one's going to be, so I'm going to bring, and oh, can I bring my friend, or, you know, one of them's bringing their mum, can I bring my mum? I was like, of course your mum can come, like why not, you know, like why, yeah, definitely, because that's what it's all about. It's about, you know, meeting people and creating these connections. Obviously, you're not going to make connections with everyone. You know, it depends on, but for me, what I want to create is a community and a kind of a safe space, like a bubble almost, where people can just be like, oh, do you know what? I can just go there. I can disconnect. I can be myself. I don't have the stress of like daily life. You know, I can just forget about things and have fun. And this is why it's not also just about working out, it's about doing fun stuff. Like we had dinner and karaoke last month, which was really good, because, you know, it's nothing to do with exercise, but it's just about having fun, and I love karaoke. So I was like, this will be really cool, like we can just all, you know, have a drink and you know, get to know each other and things like that. So yeah, for me, it's that, you know, the Dynamis Social Club is as important as, for example, you know, the workouts we do or training. It's you know, one of the core elements of it. So
it's amazing.
Love that. You look good, don't you?
Yeah, and it can be a workout, can't it? Depending on how much you get into it.
Oh, 100, what, karaoke? Yeah, 100%. I think you can burn a good few calories. 3 hours there, you're dancing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a full-blown cardio workout. Is karaoke, definitely. Yeah.
What do you think in terms of the fitness regime that you do? What do you think has helped you most in your sort of day-to-day life? Whether that's resistance training or maybe sauna or cardio, is there anything that you've seen has made like a big difference to your cognitive function?
I'm really, for me, my workout, my morning, I'm really a morning person. So my workout routine in the morning is sacred. Like for me, nothing will come between me and that morning workout, because it just sets me up for the day. Normally what I do is I like to have a little bit of a mix of everything. What I love is weightlifting. So I love going in on a Monday really heavy and just weightlifting, because for me it gives you such a boost and it gives you such a strong start to the week, and I absolutely love it. And it's all about focus as well. So what I love about the morning workout, whatever it is that, you know, I don't have to think about anything else in that moment. That's my time, and I can be in my own little bubble, doing my own thing in my own space, and that is just time for me. And I don't have to talk to anyone, I don't have to think about anything, I'm just there in the moment. So I love that. For example, Mondays, Tuesdays, that's normally strength training, weightlifting is my kind of thing, and then I like to mix it up with a little bit of like high rock, so cardio. So whether that's I don't know, on the skill mill running or sled push or whatever, you know, something just to have like a blast at the end. But something that really supports me in terms of my mental health, which I love doing, is on a Wednesday, is yoga. And I love yoga because yoga is that time. It's different, obviously, from the boom, 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 boom that you go in, you know, weightlifting, strength and everything like that. But it just gives you that time to like kind of calm. And it's also a nice break in the week for me, because then back on Thursday, Friday, I'm back on the strength training again or weightlifting. So for me, it really breaks it up nicely. And then what I absolutely love as well is swimming, just gentle swimming. I don't like kill myself, just a few lengths, and then jacuzzi and sauna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about that as part of recovery as well. And I love a power nap in the sauna. That also is really good. 5 minutes, just going in there, just lying down. And that really sets me up for the day. So for me, my morning workout, doing all of these things, is what really, it literally powers me through the day. Obviously, then I have to rest at the weekend, and you have to be careful as well. You're not overdoing it, or when you're not feeling well. But that really, for me, is it sounds really funny, but that's my lifeline. That is how I really function best, and that's what keeps me going, actually.
Sets you up for the day.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Exactly. I come back, have breakfast, and I'm good. And the mindset is like, you can think differently, you know, like even if you have, you're like, oh, how shall I solve it? Or what shall I do? What shall I do? Go for a workout, have a swim, have a sauna, whatever, power nap. And you find you can think in a much better, or me, I can think in a much better way anyway. So.
No, sure, I'm exactly the same. In terms of napping in the sauna, would you recommend a spotter for such an activity? Probably not one to do on your own, is it?
Do you know what? I don't mind. But I don't normally, because we have separate, so we don't have mixed ones. We have the women's and the men's apart. But normally I don't go into deep sleep, I'll be honest. I'm just kind of, it's more like a, I don't know, meditative state or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, exactly. But do you know what? You hear everything anyway, because even if, you know, someone comes in or they want to come in and then you get that blast of cold air. So even if you're like kind of asleep, you're like automatically waking up a bit more. So yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't be too deep in the sleep, but I'm, you know, just at least resting.
So meditation in the sauna, just in case.
What's that? Sorry.
We'll call it meditation in the sauna.
Meditation, exactly. I love it. Yeah.
How do your work colleagues in your day job kind of see what you do? Are they kind of motivated and want to get involved? Do they kind of keep it super separate, or how do you kind of deal with that?
Yeah, it's a bit tricky really, because I think at the moment the work colleagues that I have, I'm relatively new to this job, so you know, they don't know so much about it maybe, and it's something where we're kind of still getting to know each other. But for those colleagues who I've known for like a long time, because I've been, you know, working for a while in the same institution, they're really supportive of it. So, and the ones that I work really closely with are the in human resources. They have a Be Well department, so that's all of the wellbeing activities. So there, for example, I'm doing all the workshops for the commission. I'm now going to start giving my sculpt and stretch class as well. So I'm doing a group class there as well to help other people, and they're really supportive, and they're really like encouraging. They're like, oh, I'm going to come to your workshop, I'm going to come to your class, and this, that, and the other. Because, you know, for me, both things can, you know, they can be compatible. There's no reason just because, you know, you have, you know, you're defined as one role, you can't do anything else as well. So in general, yeah, I think they're really supportive. And of course, then outside of work, I mean, a lot of the colleagues that I have are also my friends, so they're super supportive. They love it, and that's actually my biggest support network, and I'm really grateful for that, because I think it's always good to have that, you know, that feeling of, you know, you've got someone there, or they're, you know, they're really behind you. So yeah, I love it, and I love being able to help people at work as well. For me, that's really important, is that I can give something back. So
yeah, I love that. And like, we speak to so many people as well where they're trying to set something new up, and their work are just like, no, we don't want to lose you, you can't do that. So it's really great that they're kind of like letting you bring that side kind of element into your role as well, because obviously we are multifaceted people, aren't we? Like, we all do have all these different things going on, and actually you can bring so much into your day job from all the stuff you're learning outside in your own little business as well. It's crazy when people don't let other people do that.
Yeah, I completely agree, because actually, you know, it for me, it's also common sense. Like, if you've got somebody there and they're like you say, multifaceted, that's another asset for you, for your, like, for your business. Like, if I was looking at it from the other way around, if someone said to me, oh, you know, on the side, I'm also, I don't know, whatever, a basketball player or whatever, can I do a basketball class? Or yeah, go for it, you know, why not? Because anything, you know, any other skill that you've got that you can bring into that workplace that you can then share with other people is a massive asset. It's a massive asset. So I'm really lucky, and I am really grateful actually for the opportunities that I have where I work at the commission, because it has allowed me to bring in this aspect as well. It's not so common, obviously, and not a lot of people, you know, sometimes, you know, you find that there's not so many, but then when you start talking to people, they're like, oh, but I know somebody who might, you know, and they put you in contact with someone. So it's really nice. And I think that's what it's about, is finding obviously a balance, and, you know, being able to do something which at the end of the day you really enjoy. So
it's helped you, it can help someone else, can't it?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. And I always feel like, even if, you know what, if I do, like, imagine a workshop or whatever, and even if it's only had impact, or it's only kind of just even entered the kind of consciousness that, you know, that they have it somewhere in the back of their mind, whatever, you know, about burnout or whatever, it's already like the job is worth a million times, you know, it's worth it a million times or more, because you've maybe helped someone else, or at least brought it into their awareness, and that's something that, if, which hopefully not, you know, anything did like that happen to them in the future, they can be like, oh, I think that might be, oh, maybe, you know, just to reflect. So yeah, 100%.
Just on the subject of burnout, because I think you do a bit of coaching as well, don't you, in terms of corporate burnout?
Yeah.
What would be some of the red flags you would alert people to look out for, and what would be ways you could look to negate the effects of burnout?
So normally when we look at burnout, we have the kind of signs and the symptoms, which usually manifest, obviously, as we can imagine, mental and physical. So for someone, and this is where people are like, yeah, but what's the difference between stress and burnout then? Because I just always feel really stressed. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is that burnout, when you have the symptoms of burnout, it's kind of a prolongated and more extreme form of stress when you feel stressed. So, you know, when you have burnout, whereas when you feel stressed, you feel maybe more agitated, you're more irritated, you're kind of on the go, you can't sort of sit still, you're a bit kind of, you know, with burnout, what you tend to find, for example, mentally, is that you get much more brain fog. So you just can't think properly. You become really sort of demotivated, maybe a little bit withdrawn from yourself as well. Obviously, these are the general symptoms. Then each one can have, you know, whichever symptoms, you know, maybe not all of them apply. Then you might see, you know, physical symptoms manifesting. So even things like, you know, poor sleep, or unable to kind of switch off. And then also digestive issues, which people don't think about, but, you know, people have really kind of, you know, issues with their digestion and things like that. So you just see a kind of, actually what you see with a burnout, the actual physical, mental symptoms, is a kind of a withdrawal of the person. So whereas before, you know, they would kind of be able to maybe manage it because they're running on this adrenaline, what they've done is they've actually burnt themselves out. So they don't even have the reserves of adrenaline left. So they're really just, you know, drained, basically. So, you know, the physical symptoms would be really that. It would be, you know, extreme tiredness, almost, you know, borderline depression. It's a very close line as well between burnout and depression.
Yeah.
I bet the Venn diagrams probably cross over quite a bit, don't they, between the two?
They do, yeah, absolutely. The difference being, normally what they say is with depression, it can kind of seep into all aspects of your life, whereas with burnout, if we're talking about professional burnout, because there are also other different types of burnout, which we also forget about. Obviously, professional occupational one is the one we think about the most, but there's also, you know, you can have a family burnout, you can have parental burnout, you can have social burnout, you know, it's not just limited. But yeah, absolutely. And depression would be kind of the kind of cloud sort of covering all of them, unfortunately. Yeah,
absolutely. I'd say we've probably both been on the cusp of that over the last year or so as well.
You
with work, and then me dealing with family death. But we've both been trying to like push through the whole year, and then it ended up in you quitting your job completely.
Much the same as yourself, Mona. Yeah. And then just trying to then recenter and figure out what it is you actually want to do. Yeah,
but it did really creep up, didn't it?
Yeah.
It really crept up on you, and it wasn't until it was too late that you probably realised it was burnout, right?
Well, it wasn't really until I came away from the job.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I'd separated that I actually looked back and thought, you know what, I've probably not been well for about 12 months. And I've been ignoring it.
You know what, but it's so easy to do, but it's only with that, you know, when we're in that situation, we're like, you know, these horses with the shutters on the sides of their eyes. We can only look forward, we can't see, and we're just thinking about the kind of day-to-day thing that we have to do almost to survive, just to keep going, to kind of go through it. But maybe that was your situation as well, and then you get to a point you think, you know what, I can't do it anymore, this isn't worth it, like, and I'm not doing it anymore, and I don't want to. And then only when you look back you think, oh my god, that was actually really bad, but I didn't realize, because I was because we don't know, and we don't know unless you've actually been through it normally. You're not aware of those red signs, those red flags, those warning signs. And we do, the human mind, it pushes through, got to carry on, got to carry on, got to carry on, got to carry on, got to carry on. And then, little by little, exactly what you said, little by little, it creeps up, and then you explode because you can't do it anymore. You just can't, physically, mentally, you can't.
The benefit of hindsight, isn't it? It's hard, like you say, with the momentum of everyday life. You just go one day to the next, and you don't have time often to think about how you're feeling.
No, and you think you're a little bit invincible as well. You think, oh well, why would I'm fine, because we always, we're always told, well, how are you? I'm fine, I'm okay. This is just part of life. This is just, but we don't have, exactly like you say, because we can't, step away. We just carry on doing it, even though maybe kind of as well with the beauty of hindsight, deep down, which is what I always talk about, is this power of the gut instinct, because your gut instinct is so strong and it will always tell you. I really believe that is sometimes then whether we listen to it or not, but you always have this feeling, something's not right, or something's right and it feels good, or I don't know, it's not right, but I can't quite put my finger on it, but I'm not, something's just a little bit off.
Can I just ask just a fun question?
Yeah, definitely.
Something I think about every now and again. Sometimes you haven't got time for a full workout. You might have half an hour or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So what would be your top 5 sort of desert island workouts? If you only had 5 things that you could do, what would they be? Just
with body weight, just using your own body weight, half an hour.
Not necessarily. No, could anything that you could do in the gym.
Anything in the gym for half an hour. So I think I would definitely do the weightlifting. So I do the squat. That would be my number 1. Love a squat. Then I would do probably, I love cardio. So I love the skill mill, actually. What I really love is the cardio blast. So I love combining the exercises. So I'd probably do skill mill, 500 meters, boom, 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 then go off. And then maybe do I love the farmer's walk, a farmer's carry, sorry, it's called. And you just need 2 kettlebells. And it's really, people are like, what is it? I was like, well, you just walk up and down with kettlebells. They're like, is that really fun? I'm like, yeah, you can get because you can kind of start trotting a little bit. So high rocks, that's my favorite. Skill mill and the farmer's walk, weightlifting. What else do I really like? And then do you know what? I actually really like the kind of core, which sounds really silly, but I really like core workout as well. So I really like doing a combination of, for example, I don't know, with the med ball. So I really like doing like a plank on the med ball, and then maybe doing like some like crunches or something like that. Sorry, the Swiss ball, and then the crunches with the med ball. Yeah. And then I love half an hour. If I'm going to do something more chilled, it'd be probably then I'd say a bit like stretching. So I love doing like a little bit of stretching, mobility. I love using the massage gun, the foam rolling. That's amazing. That's always part of my little workout, is the foam rolling, just to get the muscles nice and prepared.
This is a follow-up hour, isn't it? You know
what? I would do it in different times. Yeah, I wouldn't do all of it at once. So if I only had half an hour, I'd do half an hour for weightlifting, and then done. And then I'd do half an hour core. And then, so these would be 5 different sets of exercises. I don't know if I've made that now really complicated, but they'd be my top, probably 100 now that I've explained it all.
Love that. Cool. Okay, so what is next for Dynamis? Where do you kind of see it in the next few years going?
So for me, Dynamis will be growing. What I'd really love to do, obviously, is expand. That's the first thing I'd like to do. I want to build up, but I want to make sure that I've got a solid foundation in place, which is really important for me. So at the moment, I'm looking to build, keep building, keep raising awareness. So that will be in the form of wellbeing events as well. For me, that's a really important part of it, to attract more clients. And also, actually, I see it going not just in Brussels. For me, Dynamis is a whole business, a whole brand, a whole way of being that isn't just actually limited here, but that eventually I could take also abroad, maybe to Spain, to the UK. I have kind of connections in both places, and online as well, because, I think people really are looking for something, people want apps, people want something really easily accessible. So my idea is just to keep building it little by little, starting in Brussels, and just making it really as well known as I can, and as successful as I can, because I really believe in it, and I do believe that people need, you know, the service, let's say, that I'm providing as well. So Dynamis Social Club, maybe going slightly bigger, but the key for the moment, and you know, slow and steady wins the race. I always say that. So for now, it's carrying on, building and just growing what we have and making it even bigger and more successful.
Great.
Love that. As soon as you're up in the UK, we'll be there. We'll be there for your first class.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. I would love it. Oh my goodness, I would absolutely love it. Really, that would be great. I'll have to, yeah, keep you posted.
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
Cool. So if people want to find out more about you and your work, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. That's probably the best place they can find me. So Mona, at Mona for Dynamis, so Mona X Dynamis and Dynamis PT 7. And also I have my website, which is the Linktree Dynamis PT 1, and I'm also on YouTube and TikTok under Mona for Dynamis 2. But Instagram is probably the best place to find me. If you want to find out more, I've got also the Dynamis newsletter, the Dynamis WhatsApp group. So, you know, everyone is welcome. As I say, it's a really all-inclusive community. Nobody is, you know, out of the Dynamis community. Whoever wants to be a part is more than welcome, and also to contact me as well.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you so much. That was
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was so nice to talk to you. It was so lovely.